So let's just jump into rule 3. Rule 3 actually just goes into what is going to be capitalized and not capitalized. I think it's a pretty straightforward rule, so you should be able to just read through it. Pretty much any of the a and the, but, for, or, those are not going to be capitalized. Everything else is. Unless you're talking about like someone's name, of course you're gonna italicize that, and things like that. But rule 4 is the one that I really want to jump into. So let me pull up the PowerPoint on rule 4. So rule 4 is on numbers. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so rule 4. So if a number appears in a citation, and here we're looking at 4.1, if it's in the citation, you're going to state it as numerals, meaning the numbers. Unless the number, I'm sorry. Hold on, let me read back through this. Okay, so you have to either figure out if you're going to spell it out or leave it as numbers. Okay. So if in the citation, the digits are 4 digits or more, meaning 1,000 or more, you're going to keep the numbers and you're going to put commas where you would normally put commas. So like for 10,000, you are going to put a comma right after the first 10, just like how you do with money. You know, like 1,000,000 is going to have 2 commas, you know, after every third 0. So you're going to divide it with a comma for every 3-digit group. Exactly how you do it with numbers. So now, don't go by my slide. It says it says 5 digits or more. The book has now changed it to 4. Okay, so that is different, which is exactly how we do our numbers. Okay, so if it's 1,000, you're going to put a comma between the 1 and the first 0. Now, the only time you're not going to put a comma is if the number is a statutory section, a database ID, or a docket number. For those, you have to leave it the way it is. So if you're looking at the examples in page 17, like the first 2 examples there, the 11 USC section 1202, 1202 is a statute number, so you're not going to include a comma. Now look at the third example, which is Ruth Ann Robson, 13 false blackbirds. Because the number 13 is part of the book title, you're going to leave it written out the way they have it, which would be 13 spelled out. What's another good one? Okay, so Butler versus Smith, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6th example, that's a case. All right. And if you see right behind the case name, Butler versus Smith, it says number 3:10 CV. Da, 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 da. So that is a case number. You're not going to put commas in that. All right, any questions with that one? So if it's a big number with more than 4 digits, you're going to use commas, unless it's a title, subtitle, statutory section, database ID number, or a docket number, then you don't. You leave it the way it is. All right. In 4.2a, it talks about when do you spell something out? So if it's part of a sentence and not like above where we were talking about like a statute number or a name. So let's say, for example, you are writing a paragraph and you're talking about 101 Dalmatians, of course, because I love dogs. Normally, when we're talking about 101, you are talking, you're going to be spelling numbers out potentially. So in English writing, we learn if it's 0 through 9, we write it out. 10 on up, we end up spelling it out. I'm sorry, we end up using the numbers. Well, here in legal writing, 0 through 99, you're going to use a number, you're going to spell it out. For 100 on up, you're going to write the number, unless it's an even number. So if it's 1,000 or 2 million, you're going to go ahead and spell it out. But if it's a number other than that, then you're going to actually put the numbers in. Okay, so on the screen, I've got legal writing versus non-legal writing. If you want to take a snapshot of that, I'll leave it up for just a second. Okay, so you're going to spell out anything 99 and down, or if it's a round number. Everything else you're going to use the numbers for. All right. 4.2b talks about if the number starts off the sentence, you've got to spell it out. All right, 4.2c, it's gonna throw you for a loop. So now we've got Arabic numbers and Roman numbers. No, Roman numerals. So Arabic numbers are, our normal number system, which is 1, 4, 25. Roman numerals is the V, the I, the IX, those kind of numbers. So if the Roman numeral is part of someone's name or an event or part of a vehicle or vessel name or page numbers in the front of the book, you're going to keep the Roman numerals. Such as World War I, you actually use the Roman numeral I as number 1. And there's some really good examples in the book. So what that means is if you are quoting something that has Roman numerals and it's let's say, for example, a list of things like I, you're going to switch those over to normal numbers. All right, so 4.3 is actually a really important one. So what you're going to do is anytime we're talking about the first or the fifth, you're actually going to spell it out. But if it's a third edition or a something having to do with one of the periodicals, the ones like we were just looking at, the third series, the second series, that's where it's going to be a little different, okay? So for those, you're actually going to do the abbreviation. But if you notice, I did this on purpose. So if you look at where it says numbers and letters, I've got 3D, which is third edition. Then I have 21st and 75th. All right, so look at the difference between the ST and the TH. Superscript is where it pops it up to the very top. That is a big no-no in legal writing. So I did it there to show you what the difference was going to be. So the ST should be a big ST. Same thing with the TH. So what you want to do is make sure that there's a setting in Word, and I don't know who uses WordPerfect anymore, but there's a setting where you can get it to stop switching it, because as soon as you hit the space bar after the ST, it's automatically going to make it smaller. So you actually have to turn off that setting in Word. And that's why I showed it to you in that way. We want the big ST or the big TH. And for third or second, you're going to take off that first letter. So for third and second, you're always going to take off the N and the R. It's always going to be the D lumped together with the number. Exactly how it had it in Appendix 1. And my biggest pet peeve is on the dates. So you'd be surprised at how often I get a document signed by the court and the judge uses June 17th and they put the TH in the date. When we're talking about dates, take off the TH. You just put June 17th, just a number. But a lot of judges don't even see that, but a lot of attorneys still use the TH in the date. All right, so this is where we're going to stop.